The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
Shalom, brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm Elder Rawchaa of the Gathering of Christ Church. And Shabbat Shalom for all the brothers and sisters who are on a different time zone, probably on the other side of the earth, where you're probably already into your Sabbath. Sabbath is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. All right. Shalom, shalom. I'm just doing a quick update. Unfortunately, and I know my loyal Patreon members, you're with us. I'm not going to be doing Patreon this evening. I'll come back next week and make sure I'll do a Patreon for all you brothers and sisters. But there's a lot going on, and I thought I would do an update running into the Sabbath for tomorrow. All right. We have a serious lesson tomorrow in the wake of everything going on right now publicly. All right. We have a serious Sabbath tomorrow. We are in the midst of a spiritual battle that's freeing the children of Israel. But all in all, like Pharaoh, the powers that be will refuse to let us go, knowing that there is no system in place that would embolden their power without us as servants. I thank the Most High for this moment, and His name is Ahia, the God of the Hebrews. The God who gave the law, statutes, and commandments to Moses. The God who established the 12 tribes of Israel who were once lost but are now found. Now, while this is a blessed time to be living in, it's also a dangerous time. It's a very dangerous time for the earth and for our people. This is why I titled this update. It's going to be a brief update. The media's reverse racism. In the midst of those who are in the media, brothers and sisters, they'll make us believe that what's going on when it comes to ideologies and ideas, contrary to the mainstream narrative, that if they don't get in front of this and treat this as if it's the end of the world for their particular people, that all civilization would cease to exist. That's how serious they're pushing what's going on with Kyrie and Kanye West right now. It's to put us on the defense. I'm reading all of these articles. I'm hearing everything I'm hearing, whether you go to sports commentary in which they should be talking about sports or their particular sport, or if you go to mainstream news, MSNBC, whether Fox, whether liberal or conservative, it seems like it doesn't matter where you go, they're all lockstep in this, in this now defense of the media or those in power, saying that there's an uptick in anti-Semitism. Stop anti-Semitism. Now, I don't agree with that more. I mean, I don't disagree with them saying that they might have some information concerning that have stoked these concerns. My issue is it must be clearly defined what anti-Semitism is. And I'm saying that not to say that their concerns aren't warranted if they are. So that we can have a clear-cut understanding of what lines not to cross when it comes to offending people. If there's a clear-cut defining of what that is. But I find something dangerous in that commentary of them saying that they want to stop anti-Semitism. The dangerous part of that is if they outright in the media lie without consequence, making claims that Kyrie Irving or Ye, formerly as Kanye West, is making statements that cannot be founded. Every time they bring up this thing about Kyrie and Kanye, what comes out is that the Holocaust never happened within the same dialogue, which is disingenuous, and it's an outright lie by putting them with that destructive commentary. Why is it destructive? Because they have never said any of those things. They've never said the Holocaust never happened. That's wrong. That's bad journalism. And it's destructive. Why? Because there's many people who aren't going to look at a documentary, who don't know what's really going on, and believe everything the media tells them. And by default, they're going to view those two brothers as if they actually said what the talking heads on the news are saying. And this is why I'm going into the broadcast tomorrow. The media must lie to uphold their empire. There should be a consequence for bad journalism, for bringing up something that has nothing to do with us and try to hook us in to a war or something that happened between Germans and Jewish people. That's wrong. If black people do something against any people, against Jewish people, white people, Asian people, and it's a crime, they should be held accountable. And that's across the board for every other race of people. If you do crimes against humanity or your fellow man, regardless of race, there's crimes on the book, there's laws on the books to prosecute one for such actions. But it's a shame the media can get away with straight lies, defamation, and demonization, knowing that there's no recourse. But really, and I'm going to go into it more so tomorrow, what the media is doing is a smokescreen for something else. It's reverse racism. What we should be discussing is what have happened right here in America and abroad against the chosen people of God, the children of Israel, who our people are. That's what should be discussed. And who have benefited from our degradation. That really should be the crux of the conversation when it comes to the genocide and the evil we have always experienced under the hands of those who are accusing us. Brothers and sisters, and it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Jewish, Asian, it doesn't matter. I need y'all to stop for a moment and understand. Really think of what all this means. And never go for the Jedi mind trick to allow others to put a guilt trip on us after what we have experienced in this world and what we continue to experience under the foot from the powers that be. I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't allow them to put a guilt trip on you. At least be honest in your reporting and don't say that these two men said anything or think anything about the Holocaust, because they've never said that. That's wrong and that's bad journalism. Now, let me make this clear, and I got a few scriptures before I go off. That's wrong. Because why? It's setting a bad precedent. If we allow these lies to go on through the media unchecked, that means they can police a thought. And eventually, if we allow this to happen, they'll be able to criminalize a thought to where even if they can tie you into something that has nothing to do with you, you are a criminal. It sets the wrong precedent because they're talking to people out there who have no idea what's going on, who didn't look at a documentary, and are planting seeds of lies into people. And that plays out in the real world on how we treat one another. Now we have to walk with we have to walk a certain way with others looking at us evil or wrong when we don't even think these things. Jedi mind trick. It's reverse racism in of itself. Those two brothers never said anything concerning the Holocaust. Now, there's a documentary. That documentary been out there for years. Right? Here's the issue. If there's a claim against the European history of what happened between Jewish people and Germans, which are two white races, right? They're two of this. These are white Europeans. A fight between them two. If it happened exactly how they said it did over Germany and over Europe during World War II, whatever the case might be, then the best thing to do is not say that someone is accusing history of being incorrect. That's not the way you go about it. Discredit that documentary by showing proof. You discredit it. Don't make it illegal or criminalize someone for lying on history or stating that your brand of how you brought forth history may not be completely as it was stated. You know, people do have the right to question history, right? Even though these two brothers didn't. If the brother Kyrie Irving looked at that documentary, it was more so him finding out who he is as an Israelite. And that would resonate more than what happened over in Germany, which has nothing to do with us. So there's parts of documentaries I've seen that resonated more so with me than other parts of documentaries. It doesn't mean I'm being indoctrinated by every idea from a documentarian, someone who's actually doing documentaries. Just because someone put it in a production doesn't mean that we're not smart enough to parse through it and understand the value of the information. And information that could be embellishing or could be untrue altogether. And you know what? That's the great part of America, right? The great part of America that you've sold to us and made us believe existed is that we could bring forth our ideas even if what? They're incorrect. We can look at history and say it didn't happen that way, only for you to come to what? Correct us with the proof. But they don't do that, folks. So let me put this out there real quick. I'm not going to be here long-winded at all. I'm going to jump right into it because there's a lot I'm going to talk about in my lesson. The media must lie to uphold this empire. Let me say this. In the book of Thessalonians, it reads that man of sin, at the very end, Christ cannot return unless that man of sin be revealed, whose workings, that means what they execute in the earth, is after the workings of Satan, whose workings are of the workings of Satan. That means Christ cannot return until we understand the systematic evil that's ingrained within an empire who have continually throughout generations destroyed the children of Israel like Pharaoh. And I think more so than anything, the media is paranoid, and even to the degree of lying on people who haven't said anything about World War II. I think they're so paranoid because they understand that prophecy in the New Testament is unfolding. That man of sin is getting revealed. That really we're not being ran through these policies of a republic, but we're under a religious, brothers and sisters, destruction. That this is a religion under Satan throughout the earth, with all nations colluded all together with the merchants to keep the children of Israel from ever seeing our true value. This has nothing to do with politics. It has more to do with a belief system, a belief that we were meant to serve them. And they can't say that outright, but I've read the Talmud. I've read other information, and it's not, guess what? Even Ishmael, the United Emirates, those who are Ishmaelites over in the Middle East, they think, according to their religion, folks, that we were born to serve them. Why? Because their father Ishmael, Abraham's first son, should have inherited the circumcision as well as the priesthood. So because the Most High gave the priesthood to us, our father Isaac, that's right. The Ishmaelites have resented that and have come up with their own priesthood from Persian mythology called Islam. That's a sideways, there's an end around of creating their own religion, feeling that they were slighted by our God who gave the promise to Isaac. And the same of Esau, who sold his birthright for one morsel of meat and eventually lost the blessing. So this is a religious attack on our people. Make no bones about it. And for those who don't believe, that's on you. If you don't know that this is a religious war against us, you haven't read the Bible. But Christ said what? That time will not come. Christ would not come unless that man of sin be revealed. And that's what's going on right now. They are afraid of us looking into history. Why? Because by looking into history, we'll see the hands of those who have always oppressed us and had a hand in every area of our degradation and destruction. You'll find the same people over and over and over again. So that's why they're afraid of us looking into our history of slavery and who financed the slave trades, who owned the ships, who owned the ports that sold us, who negotiated with the Africans, who negotiated with the Arabs. And you're going to understand that the Vatican and the synagogue of Satan, that's right, are the two legs of the monster Pharaoh who refused to let the children of Israel go. Let me read this real quick and then I'll conclude this because I don't want to take too much time. It was the Jesuits who came up with that lie of one antichrist popping up at the very end to build a temple in Jerusalem. That's all a lie. It has nothing to do with Bible prophecy. It was so that we wouldn't realize the man of sin was already at work. The mystery of iniquity was working for a long time, folks. Let me tell you, folks, there's going to be a war. And then that war, the Middle East is going to be almost done away with. And the leaders who went into that land, that Middle East, during World War I and World War II, will flee back into Chittim or Europe. Understand what's going on. That's why right now with the Ukraine, they've moved many people out of the way because a lot of people from the war is going to be moving from the Middle East into the Ukraine when Iran is struck and then Iran retaliate in the Middle East. Okay, this is nothing I thought of. This is nothing I dreamed of. It was in the Bible the whole time. And at that time, 6 million will be sacrificed. Okay, 6 million will be sacrificed. Folks, this is all religious, folks. What? This is two people over religion, Islam and Christianity, and the other religion, including Judaism and all these others, because Psalms 83 says they would all conspire against us to keep us religiously and spiritually, what? Suppressed and oppressed. But our God, the God of the Hebrews, Rawchaa, who sent his son Christ, told us this moment would come. He stated this moment would come. And guess what? When that man of sin is revealed, he will resort to all types of tactics, even lying outright, in order to sustain his power. Don't believe that, folks, when they put out there, because and they're using our people with these talking points. Oh my God. Any sentiments of what happened over there, or people are saying the Holocaust didn't happen. No one is saying the Holocaust didn't happen. Why are they injecting that in the conversations? Kanye West didn't say that. Neither did who? Neither did Kyrie Irving. Just be honest. If you disagree with what they're believing, if you just don't agree with where they're going religiously, then just state that. But please don't lie. And folks, don't allow them to have you receive it as truth. They've never stated that. Okay? Kanye West says he's a Jew. He's a black Jew. He says he has 4 black Jew children. Says he's an Israelite. Obviously, Kyrie and others already realize that they are Israelites. Okay, I'm not in defense of anyone. Okay, what I'm here is to let you know that what we're seeing and they realize isn't just these two. God is waking up his people, and the world powers are on notice. Not by us. They have nothing to fear with us. We have no power to retaliate or do anything against them. They on notice by our God. They on notice. Let me read this. Our God is angry. The God of who you call the black man, who is Israelites, who are Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Gad, Naphtali. You have built a whole empire of commerce off of the blood, sweat, tears, and death of our people. And you refuse to let us go. Let us go. Stop incentivizing degradation and evil on our people, knowing that it's a heavenly consequence for us continually breaking the law. Why do you promote evil and degradation with our image? I'm going to show y'all something, folks. Romans 9. Romans 9 is why Ishmael and Esau is paranoid right now and are clearly upset. Why? Well, if our people come back to the knowledge that we're the children of Israel, then at that point, we'll know our true purpose isn't to serve any people. That's what they fear. They fear there's an ideology which inherently and religiously opposes their power. Because why? You cannot have power without servants, without slaves. So they gave us a slave religion to make us believe we were some other people. Made us believe we were Ethiopian, or made us believe we're Hamites. Because in the Bible, Hamites, the Canaanites, were born to be servants of servants. They were born to serve other people. And by default, if we look at another people as the chosen, we would think religiously we must into perpetuity serve the people who are in what? Rulership. So they use religion to put us in an entirely different family in order for us to call ourselves Gentiles and be satisfied with servant. But the New Testament is a problem for Esau, who is the so-called European, and I'm talking about the power structure. And it's a problem for Arabs who are Ishmael. It's a problem for you. Because in the book of Romans, and this won't be long at all, in the book of Romans, let me get it. It states why the white man was put in position. It wasn't through his own power. It wasn't through his own power. Now, blessed my brother and all, and I have to say real quick that, you know, I may not agree religiously with everything the brothers state, but I have to say, you know what? A blessed shalom to Farrakhan. Not that I agree with his religious belief. Because he did state it that man in power, he stated that he was invited by a rabbi, and that rabbi had power. And he said the rabbi he sat down with gave him a what? Gave him a proposition that if he played ball, he would clean up. They would clean up Farrakhan's image, which means they have the power to portray us positively or negatively. And this is what Farrakhan said he experienced personally in his sit down with the rabbi. I'll clean up your image, he stated. So if the media has the power to clean up your image, then they must have the power to soil it. Hence, more of a reason for us to come back to God's law and be upright and start respecting and love one another. Even though we may not agree on everything, they're coming after all that's right in this earth, knowing that there's a prophecy that will raise our people above all people. That's a promise. That's a biblical promise from our God that they can do nothing about. Hence the reason they fear Romans, the 9th chapter. Let me read it. Here, I'm at Romans 9. This is Paul. I say the truth in Christ. I lie not. A matter of fact, let me do it this way. 1 second. I'm going to do it this way. I say the truth in Christ. Check 1, 2. I say the truth in Christ, I lie not. My conscience also bear me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. And that's what I've seen in that announcement through Farrakhan the other day, or when I finally seen it today. That he has compassion, and you can see the pain and sorrow he has for our people. That cannot be denied. That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. But Brother Farrakhan, and I know he know, sooner or later he's going to have to just come all the way through with it, and I'm sure he will. Because Paul had continual sorrow, but he was able to address who that continually sorrow. He began to address who that sorrow would be for in the earth. Not black people. That's too ambiguous. I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ, for my brethren, for my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. Let me get it here. Who are what? Who are what? Israelites. Let me magnify this if I could. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, the glory, the covenant, the giving of the law, the service of God, and the promises, whose are the fathers, in whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came. Not as though the word of God have taken none effect, For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. So Paul said, we need to look into this Israel word. Because they're not all Israel, which are of Israel. Number one, Israel, according to the Bible, would be in a sad case in the last days. And the children of Israel would be in such a destitute state. They would have no power at all. God's people, they would have no power to be able to punish Kanye West or Kyrie Irving. The Israelites would be in exile, destitute, in sorrow, heaviness, with no power to do anything for themselves, let alone power to utterly destroy another people. 7, neither they are the seed of Abraham, and they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And that's why the Muslims have a problem with the Bible, because it acknowledges Isaac over their father Ishmael. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, the actual bloodline Israelites, folks. Listen. They which are the children of the flesh. And this is talking about the people who was on the outside of the bloodline. They're of the flesh. Ishmael came forth because what? Sarah went to Hagar to bring forth the Arabs. That wasn't of promise by our God. But the children of the promise are counted for the seed. For this is the word of promise. At this time I will come, and Sarah shall have a son. Isaac is our father. The brothers in Africa and the brothers who are suffering here in America. The indigenous people who were conquered by the Roman Empire. Your father is Isaac. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, notice how Paul is saying by our father Isaac, pointing out our future nemesis of those who would oppose the promised seed that was given through Isaac. This chapter, let me tell you, he gives it to Esau, Paul does, and Ishmael. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. This is God's plan. 12, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. The elder was Esau. It was meant for Esau to one day serve Jacob. And this is why they're paranoid right now. Because why? Their rulership is almost up. The time of consummation is here. And there will be a changing of guards. And it starts with our people coming back to the knowledge of what? Our promise according to prophecy. Islam cannot teach this to you, and neither can modern day Christianity. Hence the reason why when they feel that you have, like Kyrie and Kanye, have adopted a religious ideology outside of their imperialistic, or what you would call their power religions that have enslaved us, they fear and rally together to stomp it all out. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he saith unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then, it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, Esau, and those, the powers that be, are the modern day Pharaoh, extending from Rome all the way into Israel, and have conquered the Middle East and others all over the world. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power unto thee, that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. That's right, folks. That's right. The Most High raised up Esau to show his power. But the pride of Esau's heart have deceived him. He think it's of his power. He thinks it's because of his power, glory, military as to why his family has been exalted above all families in the earth. But the same that happened to Nebuchadnezzar through the pride of his heart, stating that it was through his power that he would rule us in Babylon. That's right, folks. Look it up. Nebuchadnezzar, he was cursed for standing in position and claiming that the power to rule over our people came from him. And that's what's going on with Esau right now. And through his pride, he has hardened his heart. And instead of admitting the truth concerning Kyrie Irving and Kanye West to why they found out they're Israel, that God has given back what? The knowledge of our birthright lost. They would rather show pride, lie, deflect, reprimand, and put our people on the defense. They're hardening their hearts, just like Pharaoh, and refuse to let the children of Israel go. See, letting us go isn't like it was coming out of Egypt. When it says let our people go now because we are enslaved throughout the four corners of the earth, it's telling the truth. It's telling the truth. Letting us go here so that we can serve the living God in our temples. Because the Most High lies right here in our minds, and he's communicating with our people, and there's nothing you can do. You have the power through the media to tell the people the truth. That Kyrie, Kanye, and all of Israelites who are before them and will come after them are the children of Israel according to prophecy. But we don't expect you to do that. We expect you to get on the media, lie, conflate, and redirect the conversation. Folks, don't believe that. Don't believe anything they're telling you concerning trying to claim that people believe what they believe, and they're looking at these documentaries based on something that happened between some Europeans, in a war that had nothing to do with us. Don't believe it. They're hardening their hearts. They're doubling down. What you do is what? What we can do is we're not going to ask them to ever tell us the truth or do what's right. Because Pharaoh had an opportunity to do what's right. And you know what happened? Our God began to plague the land. And the world began to suffer. Until they had no choice but to let our people go. So, folks, right now, we're under a media attack, demonization, all of that. instead of them doing what? Putting the conversation on the table and allowing us to have the freedom of religion they claim this country backs and upholds. Me being an Israelite isn't a threat to anyone else. The greatest Israelite was Christ. This is allowing my children, our offspring, in the next generation, it's allowing them to get access to an understanding beyond the slave ideologies that have been perpetrated on our people. That's all this is. And guess what? No one should think it's anti-Semitic if our people stake claim to who we are. Us being an Israelite doesn't mean we're going to harm any other people. Believe it or not, if you look at it compared to any other religion, if you want to put us in a religion, being an Israelite is the most harmless religion compared to any other religion on earth. If you want to try to pigeonhole us, even though it's not a religion, it's what? It's our bloodline and birthright. But if you want to pigeonhole it into that, the holy wars between Arabs and Christians, where millions died because of religious ideology. Over tens of millions of my forefathers died on the way to America and died on the way to their slave lands in which they would build empires by the hands of Christians, Christian military. But yet you're going to try to put in the media as if Israelites, in the belief of that, can physically harm another nation when there's no power. We have no power to do so. Brothers and sisters, don't allow them to do this. Don't allow them to stake claim that some type of radicalization or some type of terrorism is going to come out of us staking claim to who we are. We don't have the power. We don't have the power to do what they have done to us. This is reverse racism at its best. You young brothers out there who are rapping, singing, doing what you want to do, it's time for y'all. It's time for you all to restructure everything. Sit back and think about how they're incentivizing you, killing each other, selling drugs in our neighborhood, and just destroying our image. They're relishing in the fact that the children of God are operating like the bottom of the earth. Let's prove them wrong. Let's no longer kill each other. Let's come together in the Spirit of Christ and claim what's rightfully ours. The promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom. Blessed Sabbath. And I want to put out there, December 4th, I would like to see you in this Hebrew Bible Academy, because I'm going to be going into history like you've never seen before. History. And with the more history we get in the biblical understanding, we'll understand our worth, number one, and by default, the light of Christ will shine on darkness, the synagogue of Satan, and that man of sin will continually be revealed. December 4th, I want to see you all there, folks. Support this work. Go to historytimes.org. Shalom. historytimes.org. Support your brethren. Support your elders. Because the system isn't going to do it. And unless you support us, there's no support. You must support this work so that we can get to the ends of the earth, because Christ says, this gospel of the kingdom must be taught throughout the four quarters of the earth, then the end shall come. Support this work, brothers and sisters. HistoryTimes.org. I'll see you sharp, 11 a.m. sharp tomorrow with our Bible lesson. The media must lie to uphold their empire. Okay, there will be no Patreon tonight, but don't worry about it. I'll come back next week with it. You have a blessed Sabbath. And folks, don't allow them to pull their Jedi mind trick and their reverse racism. They cannot make us feel guilty about nothing. They can't try to reverse and try to put us on the defense as if these people didn't have a hand in our condition. The only people that have a right to put guilt on anyone in the United States and in the Western world are our people. Good night. Shabbat Shalom. We going to Zion. That's right. To Zion.
I was lost, but now I'm found.
HistoryTimes.org.
I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Hear the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way. Lord God, my path, show me the way to Zion. I opened up the book and see that the apple of your eye included me, and through the tribulation I know I must stand. For a new heaven, a new earth, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path, show me the way to Zion, to Zion. I feel the Spirit calling me, drawing me back home. Oh, been suffering with my family, I know it won't be long. One day you're gonna look for me. I lay